achieve for Somalia. Both the federal government and the federal member states are facing major challenges in meeting their obligations as a consequence of the economic impact this pandemic is already having on Somalia. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in our country today, remittances have declined rapidly, trade has dropped, small businesses are affected, household income has collapsed, and Somali banks are facing major problems in their day-to-day transactions with international banks and financial entities. With this sharp decrease in revenues, our government is facing an imminent challenge in meeting critical obligations, including overheads such as paying our civil servants and security forces. Tragically, we are also forced and faced to deal with floods that are currently being witnessed in Gardo, in Puntland, where 7 people have lost their lives and several others are still missing. Millions in livelihoods have been lost, and we predict that this will be the case further downstream in other parts of the country. Low cost is also threatening our farmers. And with this new reality, therefore, everything that you want to discuss today could be meaningless within a few months if we don't keep this country afloat and together. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, almost exactly a month ago, Somalia reached decision point under the HIBIC initiative for debt relief. My President and I consider this an achievement of historic importance, and I am grateful for the collaboration and support from so many key partners here today. I was hoping we could be discussing how we can accelerate our progress in building a stable and prosperous Somalia. I believed then and still believe that Somalia can be a success story if we are able to continue carrying out the much needed reforms, tackle corruption, and take on cartels that are against the progress and prefer war economy head on. If we can continue to do that, then I'm confident that even in a difficult times like this one, we can promote a narrative of hope, narrative of peace and prosperity. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, despite the challenges the world and our nation is currently facing, I would like to reaffirm that our objectives remain unchanged: to transform our nation, return it to path of economic recovery, political stability, and foster peace and prosperity. Our goal when reforming our security sector was to rebuild the forces that are accountable, sustainable, and capable of taking on the security responsibilities of our country. And despite our limitations, the most visible change has been our drive to take the lead. With our modest force capabilities, we've begun setting the strategic direction for security operations and support. And as a result of that, the Somali National Army is fighting alongside AMISOM and spread-heading offensive in line with the Somali Transition Plan. Operations in Lower Shabelle have recovered areas previously under the control of Al-Shabaab, while at the same time re-establishing integrated units that are sustained and holding territory. This in itself is a remarkable indicator. These operations have been supported by stabilization activities to ensure that local governance and services are returned to communities as quickly as possible. It is our intent to build upon these tested operational initiatives that has unified Somali security stakeholders, AMISOM and our partners, and hasten the implementation of the Somalia Transition Plan. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, We continue to face a fast evolving threat. We no longer face an enemy that attacks us only through bombs and bullets, although they continue to do so with deadly effect. This enemy attacks us through our businesses and our communities. They have made an industry out of intimidation, extortion, and threats. Their core leadership and major stakeholders no longer subscribe to the ideological, but rather are a criminal outfit who recruit and brainwash young boys to achieve their criminal objectives. To defeat them, we must dismantle their ability to extract money from vulnerable businessmen and women, expose how they are undermining Somalia economic growth, and disrupt their networks both in Somalia and in the region. Because, Excellencies and ladies and gentlemen, Somalia has responsibilities to its neighbors, just as they do to Somalia. They all have troops in Somalia. Today, the majority are hearted under AMISOM. Our view is that a fundamental objective of Somalia's security strategy must be that we live and are mutually committed to a secure neighborhood. I urge you all to encourage this outcome. It is all the more important because Somalia cannot become the arena for international divisions imported into our country and this in region of ours. Somalia is committed to assuming its security responsibilities, but requires continued international support after 2021. It is also difficult to imagine such an operation that does not take into account Somalia's neighbors and the interests of the African Union and the wider international partners. The troops of AMISOM have paid the ultimate sacrifice in Somalia to help us build a stable Somalia, and that is why we can talk about debt relief and economic recovery today. And therefore, they should receive the support to complete their mission so that they leave behind a fully completed mission.